I'm a licensed psychologist here in New York, and I'm an individual couples and group therapist. So the first thing that we do is really try to see, is this going to be a good fit? And if it's not a good fit, I help someone, to find someone else. I don't just say goodbye and let you walk out the door. But if it does seem like it's going to be a good fit, the first 5 to 7 sessions are more of an assessment period. Basically really trying to flesh out and understand what is it that you want to focus on, what is it that you need the most help in, and how we're going to go about doing that. So that by the end of the assessment period, that's quite clear. And I really care, and so I'm not someone that just sort of hides behind my role as a therapist or only works with behavior. And I think it's so important, and a lot of research has demonstrated that the most important factor in terms of therapeutic change is the relationship between the therapist and the client, and I really believe that. And the other thing is I've got a really varied background. I've studied child psychology, I've studied group psychotherapy, I've studied couple psychotherapy, I've done a number of different trainings, so I've worked really hard to get where I am. And I continue studying because this is a profession where you never stop learning. I encourage a lot of the people that I work with individually to consider joining a group. It's not mandatory. It's not something that I pressure people into doing, but it's something that I think is incredibly valuable, especially for people struggling with interpersonal and relationship issues, because working in a group environment is a controlled environment. It's almost like a laboratory. It's a safe place for people to explore and understand the way that they interact with others and the way that others experience them. And in many ways that are just, you don't have that opportunity in the outside world. And it's a really powerful and effective way of working. One of the things that I've studied is something called Schema therapy. And it's an integrative model combining what I feel to be the best of a number of different approaches. And it's basically a way to, it introduces a language and a way of understanding issues and problems. And there's so many aha moments, like, oh wow, I thought I was the only one, or I didn't know there was a name for this or a word for this. So part of the approach is actually giving a language to people to understand things that they've never really put into words before, and also making connections and understanding the developmental origins of their problems. And that doesn't mean just concentrating on the past. It doesn't mean blaming your parents for all of your problems. But it does mean that if you really want to understand what your problems are now, you have to understand where they come from.